People are cheering this. Did you hear the cheers? Boo! Boo! I can't stand the NFL. I'm boycotting football, basically forever. They helped ruin this country. All right? They came pretty damn close. During an election year, they called for immediate change. I don't need it, and I don't think you do either. There are so many better things we could do with our time. Look, I like football, the sport. I played it as a little kid on the Pee Wee League, you know? But what do we get out of it, really? You know, watching those guys get exercise, make money, get ahead in their lives, while we just sit there and watch them and bet our own money sometimes on it. I want out. By the way, I don't trust it sometimes. Some of these Super Bowl games seemed almost rigged. And I'll tell you what's really phony, the Kelsey, Travis, Taylor Swift, whatever the hell that thing is. It is fake. It is a strategy for, I don't know what. I don't care. I don't know why people would really care, but I think it's a great big corporate project. And I blame Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the Football League. This guy will do anything to stay on top of Money Mountain, including get vaxxed. Look at this, huh? What does vaccination have to do? You see that? At the COVID vaxxed. That's your problem, pal. Yeah, I don't like him. I don't trust him. And at the moment of truth, what did he do? All that stuff about George Floyd, country was burning up, and he threw gas on that fire.
It has been a difficult time for our country, in particular, Black people in our country. First, my condolences to the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and all the families who have endured police brutality.
This billionaire puts on some casual clothes, tries to go to an ordinary-looking den, tries to not look like the power-hungry maniac that he is, and what does he do? Agrees for George Floyd, the career criminal lowlife who was not murdered. I'm sorry, we were all fooled. Why do they do it? Why? At that moment, he caves. Why? Keep going.
We, the National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of Black people.
What does this wannabe jock know about any of that stuff? He knows about money. He knows about how to placate the mob that sometimes is the NFL, also known as the National Felon League. Have you ever heard that one? These are the issues that, whatever. I don't like it, what he did, how he did it, and now we're supposed to watch his games and make him and the owners richer. I'm out. Next.
We, the National Football League, admit we were wrong for not listening to NFL players earlier and encourage all to speak out and peacefully protest.
The ultimate in pandering, right? This is pandering. This is say whatever it takes so the mob doesn't pick on us. We don't want any protests. We don't want any problems. Here's money. Black Lives Matter. Here's a big check. And keep going out there and disrespecting the cops. This was undermining law enforcement at one of the most crucial moments. Yeah, protest, peaceful protest, my foot. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Roger? I'm not going to watch these games. I didn't last season. There are other things to do with our time. You can learn a language on Sunday afternoons if you want, and Monday night and Thursday night and all this stuff. It's all artificial anyway. What difference does it make in the end? Sorry to be so bitter, but I am a little bitter. I lived right in the middle of a riot in this city. People coming up the wrong way on 9th Avenue and stopping traffic, banging on car hoods, my wife, my baby. And that was a peaceful protest. It wasn't. But from your secure location, right, just say whatever the hell the mob wants to hear.
We, the National Football League, believe Black Lives Matter. I personally protest with you and want to be part of the much-needed change in this country.
And what is that exactly? And how are you going to execute that? You know what he's going to do? Virtue signaling, right? Just put some signs all over the field. Have a couple of programs for the community. See that? End racism. That's a little bit on the nose. As if people who don't put end racism bumper stickers on their cars like racism. That's what I can't stand about some of that stuff. Like, we all don't like racism, but if you have a campaign, somehow you're better than us. No, you're not. You're money-hungry fools. Next.
Without black players, there would be no National Football League. And the protests around the country are emblematic of the centuries of silence, inequality, and oppression of black players, coaches, fans, and staff.
Centuries of oppression. The staff, quit the NFL and get a job at some college, right? They'll dig this stuff. But you had no business doing it. And I just can't stand that business is booming for the NFL. I'm not calling for a boycott, but I personally am boycotting it. I want nothing to do with it. I think there are better things we can do rather than drink in front of the TV. Maybe we get into shape, and the next time we see something, we're going to do something. Maybe, I don't know, we commit the Constitution to memory. Maybe a lot of things. I think we got one more.
We are listening. I am listening. And I will be reaching out to players who have raised their voices and others on how we can improve and go forward for a better and more united NFL family.
One thing, if you really want to unite the family, you can apologize to Coach Gruden. Is that his name? Remember, from the Raiders? Couldn't believe what happened to this guy. In a private email to a person, he wrote a word. It's a slur, yeah, sure. It's for gay people. It rhymes with bag, and it starts with an F. Not a nice word, but, for a couple of decades, people said that word on primetime television. Let's see here. What happened? So they kicked him out, right? And he's sued to get his job back, and he wants some compensation, and I think he deserves it, what happened to him. And I'm not kidding about that, the bag word, whatever. Anybody remember Fast Times at Ridgemont High? It was the #1 movie in this country for 6 months. There's Spicoli. And I believe he let the F word rip a couple of times. Not the F word, the other F word.
You, dude. Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
Okay. That's not the scene where he says the F word. He says that during a dream sequence, but I believe the teacher's name was Mr. Hond. Anyway, amusing movie, and they called everybody the F word. I think Roger Goodell is a great big phony. I think the fans deserve better, and I think the fans actually should treat themselves a little better and maybe turn their back on some of that nonsense. There is too much going on. They came too close to taking our liberties away. Kamala Harris was on the verge of becoming president. There are plenty of things we can do. I don't know exactly what they are, but I'm not wasting 9 hours on a Sunday anymore watching those guys. All right, next, please. Okay, Congressman Barry Loudermilk, Republican of Georgia, a little bit of fanfare because he just did something awesome. A real January 6th committee, not the fake one led by Liz Cheney and that other guy that looked at everything that did not happen on January 6th. They wanted to know what Donald Trump said in a speech in December. They wanted to know about a tweet from October. They wanted to know what Rudy Giuliani was doing in Arizona. Nothing about why the cop left the door open. Why did that happen? Why did a lot of things happen on January 6th? Well, the real January 6th committee that was just approved is actually going to look into it. And I'm told the key to finding out who was responsible, who may have been orchestrating all of this stuff, Nancy Pelosi, maybe, is finding out about the pipe bombs. Remember the pipe bombs?
New surveillance of the person who placed pipe bombs before the Capitol riot, walking with a backpack, the moment the suspect may have left a bomb in a park near Democratic headquarters. Tonight, the manhunt and the plea from the FBI. And a potentially life-saving change for cancer screenings.
We let it go a little bit longer there because you may have heard Lester Holt say the pipe bomb that was left at the Democrat national headquarters, right? indicating that, it was just a bunch of crazy MAGA right-wingers who were causing the trouble. But there was a bomb left at the RNC. This guy left a bomb at the Republican National Committee and the Democrat National Committee, but they only emphasized the Democrat. And by the way, look at this. This is the moment where the guy plants the bomb. This is incredibly strange. The FBI, well, there's a lot of suspicion about the FBI, what they did, what they didn't do. The next day, the Secret Service, cops, they are aware of this bomb, but they don't really do much of anything. You see that little red dot? That's where the bomb is. They know it's there, but they don't cordon off the area. They don't do anything about it, and they're just kind of, one guy's drinking coffee, they're walking around. It's just, look at this. Just walking near the bomb, and everything's fine. No, it's not fine. Nothing is actually fine about this and all the stuff that happened in the Capitol. And reminder, we have been on this since, I think, January 7th. Who the hell is that little cop? Never forget this. We are going to find, if it's the last thing I do, we're going to find out who that little cop is, waving everybody onto Capitol Hill. Why were these cops just standing there as everybody came in? Hello, welcome to the Capitol, right? The rotunda, right that way. That's very strange. And why did 3 cops decide to take a coffee break just in time for Ashley Babbitt to be shot? They're guarding the chamber, and there they go, da-dup, 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 and all hell breaks out, right? You see, they're knocking down the door. The cops are just standing there for no reason. Why did they walk off their post? And you're about to see Michael Byrd take out his gun. They're ducking. You couldn't save Ashley Babbitt. You couldn't. What the hell is wrong with those cops? And they thought that, oh, well, no one's going to question law enforcement. You know what? We're suspicious of everybody and everything these days after what we've been through. Ashley Babbitt was killed, and we have not had an adequate investigation, although President Trump is all over this stuff. And who are these cops? Why did they walk off at the moment of truth? Have they been adequately questioned? They haven't been. A few other things. I want to get the liars because, oh boy, there were some liars like this one. Cassidy Hutchinson. Ooh, look at her. She's brave. She's wearing a white suit. She's pretty. Her story didn't make sense. And I think she knew it. I think she... Look, she fooled some of the people, right? She fooled these 2 guys. They may look familiar to you.
Can we talk about Cassidy Hutchinson? She was a great witness. She was absolutely precise.
This testimony was very compelling from beginning to end. She obviously had access to all of the players.
Cassidy was an intern, basically, 23 years old, and she had no firsthand testimony of anything. I saw Bobby who told me that Tony said that Frank said that George said that Bill said that the president was angry. Tell us more, Cassidy, because she looked good. Literally, that's how stupid, right? Oh, I thought she was just great. Then this happens, okay? This is the ultimate. This is the ultimate. She lies in front of 10 million people who are watching this thing, and nobody catches it. Nobody calls it out. Except me, of course. True. Watch.
Ms. Hutchinson, could you look at the exhibit that we're showing on the screen now? Have you seen this note before?
That's a note that I wrote at the direction of the Chief of Staff on January 6th, likely around 3 o'clock.
And it's written on a Chief of Staff note card, but that's your handwriting, Ms. Hutchinson?
That's my handwriting.
Moving on. Objection, anybody? Nobody in the fake news noticed or bothered to do anything about it. I saw that handwriting and I said, that is not a 23-year-old woman's handwriting. Can we see it again, please? Anyone who entered the cab. Is there any way a woman wrote this? Now, you don't have to go to FBI handwriting school to know that that is a man's handwriting.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.